remind you, in this very house, when GST was passed, there was a categorical assurance by the center that the states will not be worse off. I think somewhere down the line, we have reneged on that assurance, because the states are only getting their share of what is being collected. There's nothing to protect the states, especially the states which initially were objecting, like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Gujarat, which wanted to at least assure their revenue. That is not being met as we speak, because we in the Finance Committee have categorically asked this question to your officers, and we have been very categorically told that nothing of that sort exists. Whatever is collected, you will get it. There is no guarantee of the minimum, the collection which would have been given to the states, as was promised in this House during the passage of the GST Council bill. So I just want to remind you, and I would like to reflect on that and see what corrective action can be taken. On direct taxes also, there have been, this assurance of faceless assessment. I hope it works well. There's nothing to complain as of now. The objective and the thought process is good, but I hope the attitude of the people who are assessing, because even in faceless assessment, the person who's going to assess is going to go with his own same old attitudes. I hope that attitude will change comes, because more often than not, the department always looks at it from a point of revenue, does not look at the concerns of the taxpayer, and I hope that attitude changes. And at least in the appellate side, there should be, why this virtual and faceless assessment or appellate process, that should also be taken up. Some others have mentioned it, so I don't want to go too much into detail about that. But I hope at least the appeals and the tribunals do not remain virtual or faceless. There at least, there should be a process where the assessee has a chance to appear in person or through his nominee. Then more often than not, madam, in direct taxes, we've seen that if there is any tribunal ruling which is in favor of the assessee, 99.9% of the time, the department goes into appeal into the high courts. This is something which is, there are three layers of processes. It's by a tribunal which is gone in favor of the assessee. Why should the department in every case want to go to the high court? And then even if they lose in the high court, they will go to the Supreme Court. So this is something where I think a relook has to be done, where we are able to, at least get, a relief or remedy at a particular stage. Otherwise, this is an unending process. So I hope you will look at that very, importantly. Divestment, disinvestment is something which is very key to this budget, because privatization and, disinvestment has been the core theme of this budget. I am not against disinvestment or divestment at all. But at the same time, I would like to just remind you that in the last 1 year or 2 years, if you see your divestment process, you have said sometimes that, collect our targets and our collections have been as per target. But if you really go into the fine print, who has bought your, the proceeds have come from where? Either LIC or from another public sector undertaking. There is hardly any money you have recovered from the market or from a private source. So the divestment process, or disinvestment as you so call it, has not been a resounding success so far. And therefore, this year, the extraordinary emphasis which you have put on disinvestment and divestment, I really worry, because of the COVID situation, you may not really be able to realize the proper value, the full value, and therefore I think you should go cautiously into it. While I'm not opposing the process per se, I'm also questioning the timing, which may not yield the best possible results which you are hoping for. On the petroleum products we were talking, others have also mentioned, I would only like to say that we have a certain percentage of tax both by the state and the center on petroleum products. That tax remains constant, but the base price of the petroleum product, as it was $30, has now become say $60 or $65. the tax goes on the pro rata. So therefore, the collection of taxes is going up phenomenally both by the states and the center, causing a huge burden on the common man, and which is also driving the price of so many common used products and items consumed by, I would say, not so very wealthy people. So we have to look at taxes on petroleum products in real terms and not in percentage terms. Because that, today if you really see, everybody is talking of 100 rupees of petrol touching that mark. If you really break it down, between the state and the center, more than 50% of the 100 rupees would be coming from taxes. So that has to be re-looked at in real terms, not in tax percentage pro rata terms. I would request you to look at that, and that will definitely earn you also good brownie points. It will help the common man, it will help in controlling prices. On tourism, hospitality, aviation, transportation, these sectors, I think in the last 1 year, these have been the most badly affected. But there has been really no relief given to this sector at all. At all. I mean, I underline that. And this sector employs crores of people. Tourism, hospitality, not only hotels, look at small restaurants. Half the restaurants in the country have closed down after the COVID pandemic. And they are not likely to reopen ever again. So there has been, I'll just give you an example, say in the UK or in the US, if somebody was running a restaurant and had 10 employees, all the 10 employees were paid 80% of the wages by the state. And therefore, the restaurant could continue to remain functional, if not open, but come back to business as and when the situation improved. That situation has not arisen at all. And I don't see, even in this whole year of 21-22, that COVID problems are going to ease in this sector at least. And I hope and I urge that you have a relook at these sectors very, very meaningfully. MSME, you all announced a 3 lakh crore refinancing or a financing package up to 20% of the loans which were already obtained by them. But there was no mention that if a MSME, which really was not taking a loan, but needed a loan now, what would be the relief or what would be the measures for financing that additional requirement of that MSME? There is no mention, and I can tell you there are thousands and thousands of cases where this kind of relief has not been availed by them. The second part is, on the MSME front, you've talked of restructuring, madam. The banks are asked to restructure. But how many banks have actually been able to restructure the loans? It has been a very difficult situation for most of the MSMEs. Personal guarantees, collaterals, further, whatever comfort is being sought by the banks, which most of them are unable to provide. And as a result, the restructuring of the MSME loans has not been very easy. Neither the banks today, though they are flush with money, are willing to finance people's requirement the way they want it. There is so much rigidity, madam. And I don't know whether it's public sector bank or private sector bank. Well, all of them are being very difficult in financing new companies or giving additional finances to existing companies. So these are few things which I think you need to look at it. Even on the banks, when you talked of the 2 public sector banks being privatized, I would rather say that why don't you merge those 2 weaker public sector banks which you want to disinvest into the regular banks, the public sector banks which are healthy. You've done it in the past. What is the objective you're going to serve by only divesting 2 PSBs? Rather, you encourage more private sector banks to come up. You have HDFC, you have ICICI, you have so many other banks which have come up and done amazingly well. Why don't you encourage more private sector banks instead of disinvesting 2 public sector banks? And I can assure you, it will lead to a lot of trouble and chaos, because there are going to be strikes, there are going to be a lot of, churning upheaval, which I think you should try to avoid. And lastly, ma'am, on infrastructure, we have a very, I would say a good focus, a good thrust on infrastructure. But I hope that infrastructure doesn't only mean roads, because we collect the cess from petroleum products, we pump it into road building program, that is fine. Because the other sectors in infrastructure, Even today, power, water, sanitation, these are all sectors which in urban areas require a lot of thrust, but there is very little money available for them. So I would request you to also look at that infrastructure as a very important piece in the whole matrix.
सिद्धार्थ है, शायद अब परिचय की जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि आप हमारे वीडियोस को काफ़ी पसंद कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आज एक सूचना थी जो आपको देनी थी। सूचना ये थी कि YouTube के और आप सभी के सहयोग से अब हमारे चैनल पर आपको एक बटन और देखने मिलेगा। पहले आपको सब्सक्राइब का बटन देखने मिलता था, अब उसके साथ आपको सब्सक्राइब के बिल्कुल बाजू में ज्वाइन लिखा हुआ मिलेगा। जैसे ही आप ज्वाइन पे क्लिक करेंगे तो आपको मेंबरशिप के ऑप्शन आएंगे। मेंबरशिप है सिल्वर, गोल्ड और प्लैटिनम। आप जो भी मेंबरशिप लेना चाहें आप ले सकते हैं। आपकी मेंबरशिप लेने से हमें प्रोत्साहन मिलेगा, मोटिवेशन मिलेगा, और जिसके बाद हम आपको और भी बहुत कुछ दिखाना चाहेंगे जो हम लोग प्लानिंग्स कर रहे हैं। हमारी पूरी टीम प्लानिंग कर रही है। हो सकता है आपको आगे जर्नलिज्म से जुड़े हुए वीडियो, न्यूज़ एंकरिंग और ये काफ़ी कुछ मिलेगा, शॉर्ट फिल्म्स मिलेंगी आपको हमारे चैनल पे। तो अगर आप हमें ज्वाइन करेंगे, अगर आप मेंबरशिप लेंगे तो हमें काफ़ी सहयोग होगा। दोस्तों, अगर हमारे वीडियो आपको पसंद आ रहे हैं तो लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर करें। अगर आप हमें फेसबुक पे देखते हैं तो फेसबुक में शेयर ज़रूर करें। नमस्कार।